Big Game Rally! It will be an evening full of spectacular feats, daring deeds, and most importantly, plenty of explosions! To get things started off right now, give me a C! Give me an A! Give me an L! What's that spell? Who are we? And who's gonna win the X? Go Bears! Now, let's meet your 2015 California Golden
We got a little rule around here. That little CAL thing we just did, I'm going to be honest with you. If we went to some other UC school, like UC Merced, like UCLA, Riverside, they're all the same basically. That would be okay. But we go to Cal, you cannot do a cheer sitting down. Everyone up. Everybody get up. Now let's try that again. Like you mean it. I want them to hear it in Haas, okay? Like you mean it. Give me a C. C. Give me an A. A. Give me an L. What's that spell? Who are we? Who's getting the X? Okay, that sounded better. Keep standing. Sounds good, guys. So, 2 years ago against Northwestern, when we were back in Chicago and we won that game, after the game, a really cool thing happened. First time I've seen it since I've been at Cal, the team came over and sang the fight song with us. And that was incredible. I loved it. They do it after every game. Quick question. If you know the fight song, if you know fight, sit down. If you don't know it, just keep standing. And don't be embarrassed. No fight song shame here, okay? Okay, good. That's what I thought. Okay, stand back up. So here's what we're doing. I'm going to teach you the fight song tonight, okay? And trust me, if I'm doing this with my voice, I'm convinced you guys can do it with yours, right? So I'm going to sing through. Okay, I'm going to sing through this once, okay? And then you guys are going to do it with me, right? So it's pretty simple. Ready? And if you know it, sing along with me. Ready? Our sturdy golden bear is watching from the skies. Come on. Guards us from his... Y'all ready? Here we go. Ready? Our sturdy golden bear is watching from the skies. Looks down upon our foes and guards us. Let's hear it. Okay, so let me bring out right now, this team right here. I am so proud of this group of guys right here. The coaching staff, particularly the players. These guys committed to Cal when it was kind of a tough thing to do. We were going through a little bit of a down thing. And now we are on the rise back up. This is one of the best group of guys I've ever seen come through Cal. So let me introduce you to the head coach, Sonny Dykes.
First of all, I just want to say thanks to all of you for being here tonight. It means the world to me and to our players, so we appreciate it for you guys know. We're excited about tomorrow. As Ken said, this is, I couldn't be more proud of these young people, and this is an incredible collection of young people who are going to do great things in their lives. And they're going to do another great thing tomorrow, and that's going to beat Stanford tomorrow night. So, all these guys are really proud of them, and I promise you this, we're going to play our tails off tomorrow night. So, see you all tomorrow night.
For coming, like Coach said, this team's been through a lot, but we're coming to Stanford this weekend, and we need all you guys to help us make it Bear territory out there. Right, so let's get one Bear territory right now, so you guys know what it's like when we run the field tomorrow. You know it? You know the story? Tell the whole damn world this is Bear territory. You know it? You tell the story? You tell the whole damn world this is Bear territory. There we go, baby. Thank you.
What's up, guys? Hey, guys, real quick. Thank you guys for everything. It's been an awesome year. We've got a few more left though, and we're gonna be Stanford tomorrow for you guys. All right, we'll get the axe back in Berkeley. Go Bears! Okay. How about a guy who's been so awesome this year, done nothing but represent the university so great, Mr. Lasco. Get there.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. All y'all come out and support us tomorrow. Y'all know what we're gonna do. It's gonna be a fun ride, y'all. Go Bears!
Stephen, where are you? Steph. There he is. We got one more for you. This guy's gone through a lot. It's been awesome. He's getting ready to graduate. So go get him, Steph.
Money good.
come out and support. Thank you for all the support today. You guys have been awesome all year long. And go Bears!
So we're gonna bring out the godfather of Bear Territory. But before we do it, I want everyone to sit down for a second. Sit down. I want you guys go. You still seem a little bit tight. You know, I'll limber you up a little bit. So if you're right here, when I point to, you're gonna stand up and be C, okay? When you guys are gonna be A, and you guys are gonna be L. You got that? You're gonna do it with me. Ready? Here we go. Now I want it loud, like you mean it. Here we go. Ready? Go. Hold on. Did that look like they mean it? Did it look like they meant it at all to me? I said to stand up and yell C. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now go. Faster. Faster. Go. Okay, that's there's another hand, you guys. Awesome job. Come on over here. This, ladies and gentlemen, right here, this is the Godfather, 1982. This guy got up on the bench and led the whole student section for the first time in Bear Territory. The Godfather of Bear Territory.
Good evening, everybody. I'm not going to take too much thunder away from the team, but as you saw, they had a little bit of challenge keeping it together in the Bear Territory. So, just to give you a little bit of the history, when I first did about Bear Territory, it was about the defensive backs. We traveled all over the country, and DBs, as we always do, talk a lot of trash. But we talk a lot of trash is because we have a lot of pride about where we're from. And we're from the University of California at Berkeley. So originally, we just sat around and said, you know, this is Bear Territory. So I said, you know what, let's bring this to a head and keep it real. So we start off saying, you know it, you tell the story, you tell the whole damn world it's Bear Territory. But the offensive linemen and defensive linemen, they didn't have much rhythm. So what we did was, I said, well, as the DBs and the wide receivers, you tell the story, you tell the whole damn world it's Bear Territory.
Let's go! Let's hear it! Let's go, you guys!
Well, to show you the confidence of my position. My name is 2 centuries ago. A small junior college down the peninsula that are really struggling sports program. California was beating stanFURD in football, track, and baseball. In the fall of 1898, California beat stanFURD 22-0. Then, in the spring of '99, California swept all the track meets with stanFURD. And in the first baseball game played between the two schools, California beat stanFURD 4-1. Now the stanFURD students were on the side of desperate. They were considering chopping down their mascot sequoia tree and selling it for redwood decking in order to raise money and buy some new players. But before they could act, there was an omen in the sky above Palo Alto. A giant meteorite flashed across the sky and impacted itself
right in the pit toilets, which were at the center of Stanford's quad. The resulting impact splashed Plate Company mud over all the buildings on the Stanford campus. To this day, those buildings still resemble Homo habilis mud huts. Same color, same shape, same smell. As a carryover, if you toured the Stanford campus today and ask your guide about the smell, she'd say, "Oh, the smell? Oh, it's the pits in Stanford." But back to our story. Now, the Stanford co-eds had to go out and dig this fragment out of the mud because the Stanford fellows were all too afraid of it. It turns out they used anabolic steroid cold cream to smooth their homely faces, and it seemed to give them a little added bump. So they took this fragment to a local blacksmith, and they had it forged into a lumberman's axe head, weighing 12 pounds and spanning 15 inches across the face. It was so massive that there's still a legend down on the farm that says the first Stanford man who can lift that axe all by himself will be named Rightwise King of Bordello Hall, which is the Stanford women's dorm. Now back to sports. The co-eds had this new axe head fitted with a handle, and they gave it over to the then yell leader, a young man named Rex Oedipus. I know what you're thinking, but this kid really loved his mother. He and his fraternity mates had created a yell that they called the Axe Yell. It was based on the croaking frog chorus from The Frogs by Aristophanes. Pretty highfalutin stuff, but they weren't Greeks. Anyway, the plan was that they would take this new axe to the second baseball game, which was being played in San Francisco, April 15th, 1899. Every time Stanford did a good play, they would chop at some blue and gold ribbons on a big wooden block, and then give the axe in their sweet, prepubescent voices. Give him the axe! Give him the axe! You know. After the game was near the end, it turns out it didn't work. California beat Stanford 9-7. Now, some California football players and trackmen in the audience were really reveling in this. I mean, after all, they leveled Stanford in everything they tried since the previous fall. So they decided that this axe would make a good victory trophy. So, as the defeated Stanfordites slunk out of the stadium, the Calmen relieved them of this axe. There was a pretty good melee that developed, but pretty soon, two Californians were headed toward Chinatown with this axe, and outdistanced all the Stanford fellows. These two bearers of the axe, that's where roll on you bearers came from. At any rate, the Cal axe bearers headed for a northern Chinese butcher shop in Chinatown. They stopped long enough to have the axe handle sawn off. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was America's very first hewn-on chopstick. At any rate, after they had the handle removed, they headed for the ferry building to take the ferry to Berkeley. But the Stanford wusses had engaged the San Francisco police, and they were searching every Calman bordering the ferry for Berkeley. Now, the young man with the axe was a little bit concerned. But just then, this young man named Clint Miller saw an old girlfriend, Agnes, getting ready to board the ferry for Oakland. So he saddled up next to her and he said, Agnes, and he then reminded her of some old obligations. Oh, reminded of that, she eagerly stuck that axe under her skirt, and the three of them boarded the ferry for Oakland. Later that night, the axe made its way by trolley car to Berkeley, and from that time until 1 week later, when all the planning was done by the Valley Committee, Mason at that time, they held the very first California Axe Rally. And thereafter, for 31 years, the axe made its only annual appearances at California bonfire rallies for football and baseball games. The axe was literally a symbol of California domination over Leland stanFURD Jr. University. If the story ended there, it might not have as much drama, but here's what happened next. In a showing of the axe in 1931, the stanFURD people recaptured the axe. They resorted to literally chemical warfare, flash powder, tear gas, and just as the axe was being unfurled, this group called the Immoral 21, and reportedly led by a young Russian graduate student named Rasputin Putin, stole the axe and jumped into waiting cars. There was still flash in the eyes of all the Californians, but they regained their senses, jumped in cars, and they headed down the peninsula after the cardinal sinners. They were making ground on them and would have caught them at about the middle of the Dumbarton Bridge. But just as they reached the Dumbarton Bridge, the drawbridge operator raised the drawbridge. It turns out later they found out the drawbridge operator was a summa cum laude graduate of stanFURD's engineering school. This was a good job for him. At any rate, there were Cal raids on the stanFURD campus and stanFURD raids on the Cal campus, and frankly, student leaders and the administrative leaders were afraid that someone or some part of the campus might be damaged. So the two leaders, President Sproul of California and President Poole of stanFURD, met with the student leaders. By the way, you might remember these two famous people because both of them had very famous halls named after them on their respective campuses. Sproul Hall, you certainly know about. Poole Hall is very important. At any rate, they met with the student leaders and they decided that in the interest of college football rivalry, the axe should be presented to the annual victor of the California stanFURD football match. And that's pretty much the way it's been for 85 years. Tomorrow, we're going to write the next chapter in what's probably the most fantastic trophy since Helen. And you're going to be a part of it. If you've never seen a big game, it totally captivates you. It almost takes on a life of its own. And if ever there was a game that is dictated by the emotions of the football team, whom you just heard, and the fans, whom you are, it's big game. Now, I know you found your collective voice this year. I've been sitting on the other side, and every time you said go, I've said Bears, and we make a lot of racket. Now, I want you to take those voices down to that dinky little stadium in Palo Alto tomorrow. I want you to yell your heads off. If we do that, we can bolster those boys, and perhaps unique things can happen, as they often do in big games. Just perhaps we'll hear Joe Starkman paraphrase those words of Al Michaels when he said, "Yes, we do believe in miracles." Let's go to stanFURD Academy for the overprivileged and overbearing and show them that even their dinky little piece of real estate is, as our football players pointed out, bear territory. Go Bears, beat stanFURD, bring that axe home.
How's everybody doing tonight? So we are the UC Men's Octet, and no big game rally would be complete without a little bit of singing about stanFURD. So I hope you guys are ready. Here we go.
Always gave her D's, so she decided to become a tree at stanFURD JC. stanFURD girl, she's been living in her white bread world. You know she's never gonna get a B, because her parents built the library. Them grades ain't free. She goes to stanFURD, I think you know it's because her daddy's an alumni. She'll find it not so hard. Her teachers take MasterCard. stanFURD girl, she's been living in her college world. She took an English class and got confused. She couldn't find spark notes for Dr. Seuss. I think she'll lose. stanFURD girl, you know she looks just like a Berkeley squirrel. Dating a college boy was not her plan, and now she's looking for a Berkeley man. That's what I am. She came to Berkeley to find a real guy, but when we smelled her, we passed her right by. She digs life on the farm, dating sheep keeps her warm. stanFURD girl, she's been living in her white bread world. Her high school teachers always gave her D's, and so her parents built the library. Their grades ain't free. stanFURD girl, she's my stanFURD girl. You know I'm in love with a stanFURD girl. She's my stanFURD girl. Just stay far away from a stanFURD girl. She's my stanFURD girl. Don't mess around with a stanFURD girl. She's my stanFURD girl. I don't even know if she's a girl.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you, and we're going to leave you as we always do with the big old.
Please give it up one more time for the UC Men's Octet and one of my favorite songs on this campus, stanFURD Girl. For Jamie Sutton.
greatest university in the world. I'm a little tired of that public part. I mean, who else would you choose? That Division III school in Cambridge, Massachusetts, that's tomorrow will play the game? I'm talking the big game. I'm talking greatness. And when you choose that junior university down the peninsula, if you look at the periodic table of the fundamental elements of the universe, you see Berkeleyum, not stanFURDium. You see Ernest Laurentium. You see my chancellor, Glenn Seaborgium. You see Californium, and that's why we're gonna beat the hell out of them! The greatest university in the world. The only university that sent 4 quarterbacks to start in the NFL. 20 Nobel laureates. Top 10 ranked departments across the board. And when you walk on to other campuses, serene, calm. At Berkeley, there are 1,700 student organizations about the passion, about the interest, about the future that Cal Students, the most diverse student body in the world, that's going to lead the future, a diverse world, that it is the greatest university in the world. And our sense of greatness, our confidence in triumph tomorrow has deep, deep roots in our history, in our traditions, in the women and men who have walked in this place before us. And at the center of that corona is Coach Pappy Waldorf. Great coach. Let me start over again. It's the great Pappy Waldorf. You never want to step on Pappy Waldorf. Great coach, wonderful teacher, inspired orator, and a sense of humor. He won 7 big games. He took Cal to 3 Rose Bowls in the 50s. He was loved by those men who played for him, who affectionately called themselves Pappy's Boys. It was they who set his statue down on one knee, looking across faculty glade at the last dryad, the naked tree nymph. That's why, consistent with his good humor, our rally committee will blindfold Andy tomorrow and every game day to keep him and everyone focused on the big game. Now, Andy, when he came to Cal, said, "I'm coming to Cal to awaken a sleeping giant." Because that giant had been awakened before by the immortal Coach Andy Smith. Andy Smith created the best team in college football ever. Known uniquely across the sports world as the Wonder Team, I read from Andy's eulogy. Andy was successful even from his first 4 years. Then in 1920, the golden era of California football began. The team we know as the Wonder Team commenced its great career. In the season of 1920, the team won every game. Californians throughout the world were surprised and jubilant, but they little realized the triumphs that were yet to come. In 1921, it became his third perfect season. In these years, against the best teams in America, California football has reached the heights. Her team had scored 1,220 points to her opponent's 81. Few people thought that the record could be continued when the original players of the first Wonder team were graduated, but they underestimated the ability of Andy Smith. In the following year, he produced another team which played 10 games without defeat, and the next season, for a fifth straight year, his teams were unbeaten. So, for 5 long years, through 50 hard-fought games, California reigned supreme on the football field. In 1925, as it must for all coaches, defeat came to Andy Smith. Less than 2 months later, as it must to all men, death came to Andy Smith. Thousands upon thousands gathered at Memorial Stadium, friends and players. And when his eulogy ended, the crowd stood silent, and airplanes circled overhead. Then it dipped low, and as it passed over the silent stadium, it scattered the ashes of Andy Smith, as he had wished, over the field where he had worked and fought his battles. Andy Smith and the Wonder Teams, yes, but what we remember was also what he said. There, carved on the granite bench at the north entrance to Memorial Stadium, winning is not everything. And it is far better to play the game squarely and lose than to win at the sacrifice of an ideal. And he went on to say to his players, "We do not want men who will lie down bravely to die. We want men who will fight valiantly to live. Our traditions, our spirit, our history, our team, the greatest university in the world." I mean, can we just talk the truth for a moment? If you wanted to be in the center of the world, if you wanted to be located at the very crucible of its energy, of its intellect, of its creativity, you would come to the San Francisco Bay Area, and you would not go down to that private school on the peninsula. You would come across the Bay Bridge to Berkeley. You would come to the lair of the great golden bear. Can you say the University of California? Can you say the University of California? Ready? Hit it! Again! Can you say the greatest university in the world? Can you say the greatest university in the world? Ready? Hit it! Again! Can I have a Go Bears? Go Bears! Can I have a Go Bears? Go Bears! Go Bears!
recent event. So this recent event was 50 years ago, and I love it when young people say recent events and it's 50 years. And this is not rah-rah, but this is vitally important. In 1964, in November of 1964, groups of students gathered out on the corner of Bancroft and Telegraph. And they gathered, their initial reason was to register voters. They had some political agendas that they were trying to explain to people. And they wanted to become more active in civil rights movements. The university administration was very uncomfortable with this. This was the time when students were here to study. They were here to play football. They were here for rallies and games and cheers and not here to raise public awareness about themselves. We were just kids. And we didn't have a voice. That stopped in November of '64. There was supposed to be a clip tonight. Unfortunately, it didn't show up. The leader of the free speech movement, as it came to be known, Mario Savio, where he, after about the third day of what the administration called demonstrations, he stood on top of a police car that was just inside the post of Bancroft and Telegraph by the student union and addressed the crowd. This was done very civilly. It was done with respect. It was done with care for other people. I mean, to the point where he took his shoes off before he stood up on the car. But this made the institution very, very uncomfortable. And the papers, the Oakland Tribune and the San Francisco Chronicle, and at that time the Examiner, they made big headlines out of this. They would take helicopters and they would fly over Sproul Plaza at noon, and it would say thousands of students are rioting and demonstrating. Actually, it was a couple hundred students who were talking to the rest of us, who were going back and forth to have lunch and stopped and listened, but that's what it became. It grew into something far larger, far bigger than anybody thought at the time, including Mario Savio. And without going into all the things that happened, because I only have X amount of minutes, the students prevailed. And from that, because all they wanted to be was heard. They wanted to have the right of freedom of speech. They wanted their thoughts to be heard as adults. We had things to say. We were the leaders of tomorrow. And we needed to get our thoughts across to people. And the free speech movement started that. And then things began to go across country. Things start here at Cal. Anything important that happens in the way of student activism, the greatest research in the world starts here, and it spreads around the world. And it's spread across the country. It's just like wildfire. To the point where even the stanFURD Daily, which was really a surprise to us all that stanFURD knew how to read, let alone write. The stanFURD Daily said that Sproul Plaza became the birthplace of modern activism on American college campuses. I mean, that's from the people down there. And they sent reporters here, because all they could do is kind of sit and wish that they did what we did and think like we thought. And that's all they could do. But from that, the people of the 60s raised the bar, raised the standards for excellence. They became the voice, as Berkeley has always been, the voice of many, many issues, whether it's social or racial, or political, religious, whatever it is. It starts here. It starts with you, just as it did with us. And you are carrying on the torch. You are going to raise the bar that we initially set up. And you're going to continue to do that, and you're going to pass this on. 50 years from now, long after we're gone, somebody's going to stand up here. Could be Isaac. You can picture Isaac 50 years from now. And talk about what you've done and what you're doing here. And it's still going to be the leaders. You're still going to be the tip of the spear. That's what we do here at Cal. That's what we always have done. That's what we always will do. So I applaud you for everything, for coming here, for making that wonderful decision, for supporting the school, the teams, yourself, and promoting the spirit of California, something that sets us apart from any other school anywhere on the planet. So, for the 7th or 8th or 9th time tonight, and it never really gets old, I don't think I need this.
November 22nd, 1963. How many U.S. history buffs are here? What happened that day? Yes, we were at Ralph Plaza, 8K rally at noon, and then 30 minutes before the rally, before it came down. Well, really brought. It was tough. The word reached us. It was rough. The entire nation was shaken up, and we basically, stanFURD and Cal, in a rare cooperation, the big game rally was delayed, the game was delayed, we actually had the game the Saturday after Thanksgiving, but we actually had the game of the rally, or, it's very funny, we just basically rolled that old baby right into stanFURD Stadium and started shooting it off right into the stadium. stadium, nobody knew what the heck we were doing, where it came from. So for the rest of the 60s, we actually acquired the stadium, the Memorial Stadium, like literally just right for 10 people, and we did it until our least favorite university across the bay ruined it for everyone. They created this wimpy little pipe cannon, and they called it their cannon. But in 1970, during a game, Stanford's little wimpy, poopy cannon, they forgot to clean out the barrel because theirs actually, they stuck black powder in it, really smart guys. And they packed the charge in, it went off, and the ramrod literally shot across the stadium and almost hit the quarterback, Washington, in the middle of the game. So thus, the Pac-8 and the cannon on the field with a lot of inspiration, a group of Californians, George Hendrickson and John Larasu, moved the cannon up onto a wooden platform on Cyclone Hill.
And I can only say the words that I feel deep within my soul. My soul. If your life becomes true, I will be beside you to try and guide you through that storm. If you want to back out, I will try and ease your doubt. I know right now you're feeling torn. This is your decision, only yours. Yeah, I love those phones. I hold your shaking hands, try to understand what I need to do to help heal your pain. This isn't what you planned, but I am just a man. I'm terrified, but still I remain. I am overcome by all that I cannot control. And I can only say the words that I feel deep within my soul. My soul. Your life becomes true. I will be beside you to try and guide you through that storm. If you want to back out, I will try and ease your doubt. I know right now you're feeling torn. This is your decision, only yours. Clap along. Only you can know what's right. Only you can decide. Only you. Only you can know what's right. Only you can decide. Only you. If your life becomes true, I will be beside you to try and guide you through that
my brethren, he was a fellow DB. DBs, we were tight, as he said earlier. We are no Missouri around here. This is Cal. We love each other. That's my opening line. Hey, I just want you to know this place is so wonderful. We love coming back. So much tradition. We just can't tell you how great it is to be here. This field right here, this is kind of some history for me. My grandfather actually threw the javelin back here, and he had the U.S. record here on this stadium.
Go Bears! Go Bears!
I played in 80 through 84. I was a 4-year letterman, safety, and I also have the fortune of having my son who's on the squad this year as well, Justin Dunn.
Justin!
Woo! So we're carrying on the tradition. You know, we could talk probably too long for you guys about the play. Obviously, a huge impact. Hey, give me a feeling of how many people were actually there at the play tonight. When it actually happened. Now that was a risky question. It shows how old I am. There aren't that many people here. So, the next question, how many people have ever seen the play? Yeah! The play basically was brought together by Joe Cap. He was our coach, great leader, and he had this mantra, the bear will not quit, the bear will not die. And that's who we are. When we went on that field that year, we were 6-4. What is the team this year? What record are we this year? 6-4! 6-4! And it doesn't matter who we're playing. Our team this year has a chance to be 9-4. Isn't that awesome? That is awesome. So I want to share one more thing that Ahmad's going to bring up and what led up to the play. And it was something that we did which you would have never guessed would have been an impact. And we called it Grabaz. Ahmad, you want to talk about that a little bit?
So a lot of people think that the play just came under its own. Every Sunday after the game, this Saturday, we got together and we split up the field. We're all in our sweats trying to line up and relax. As you know, we have one of the greatest rugby teams in the world. Most of the football players today and back then played on the rugby team. And so we used to toss it back and forth. You couldn't throw it forward, but you could toss it back. You could lateral it, you could throw it, but you had to get to the other side of the field and score. So when that play took place, when Richard Rodgers gathered everybody up and said, do not go down with the ball, well, as you know, the rest is history. Woo! So the other aspect of that is tomorrow, we got to give it all you got. One of the greatest things for us as football players or any athletes is the band, is the rally committee, and of course you the fans. Without you, it means nothing. We play hard, we fight hard, and we die giving everything on the field because of the University of California in Berkeley. So 33 years ago, I created that cheer that we did earlier. But I also want to let you know my number was number 33. So that was a special time, and this is a special time for me. What I'm about to show you is this is the coin that was tossed in 1982 at the big game. Richard Rodgers, who was in the play, who touched the ball twice, handed it to me after the toss and gave it to me as a parting gift for being a senior. This is the first time I've ever shown it to any student body, so this is very special and a very special time I share with you.
And a team captain.
And I was defensive captain of the team of 1982 as well. So in the spirit of the Go Bears, of the pride of Bear territory, not just for student athletes, but all students who attend and graduate from the greatest university of all, we're going to give you one more Bear territory. Please stand up for Bear territory. On 3.
happen. And the reason why tomorrow we're going to win, preparation, one, teamwork, belief. That's one thing. You in the stands, we've got to instill it in the people, in our team. They're going to battle. You scream, you yell, and they will win. So let's go. Go Bears! Go Bears!
Thank you, Steve and Ahmad, for the personal touch to such an iconic moment. Now, as some of you may know, right now we do not have the act, which means that stanFURD has it. And when they have it, they try to forget about the epic moment in the history of Cal, the big game, play 1982, by changing the score to 20-19. But we know that tomorrow the score will be changed back.
On another note, if you were not aware, yesterday was the second annual Big Give. Give it up. As an institution, we raised over $5 million in just 24 hours. It just goes to show how great this institution can truly be when we all come together. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce 12 Berkeley students. They are the contestants of Berkeley Star. Give it up!
To go to sleep. I've got my sheets on the floor and nothing on me. And I can't take it no more, it's 100 degrees. I've got one foot out the door and where my keys. 'Cause I gotta leave. Yeah. In the back of head, I tip the driver ahead of time, give it a bag. I've got your body on my mind, on the bed. Just the thought of you gets me so high, so high. Girl, you're the one I want, you want me. If you want me, boy, you got me. There's nothing I know I wouldn't do.
three. 1, 2, 3. Please, please also give it up for the cow dance and cow cheer teams. And do not forget the University of California Rally Committee. Now, before we wrap this up, I'm going to talk about why we are here. We are here for 2 reasons. First, we are here to celebrate the greatest university in the world. Second, and perhaps, no, certainly most important, we are here to celebrate the long-awaited return of the axe. Now, if you want to talk about greatness and try to quantify it, you can talk about our Nobel laureates. Hell, you can talk about the parking spaces on campus. You can talk about the elements that we've discovered, and you can talk about the fact that there is still no stanFURDium. But ultimately, if you want to talk about the greatness of the University of California, Berkeley, it becomes a discussion about you, the people on campus, the Cal family, the reason we are the #1 university in the world. As Benjamin I. Wheeler once said, hold fast to your love for the university. Stand strong, shoulder to shoulder, as you do its work. Cheer for her. It will do your lungs good. Love her. It will do your heart and your life good. Now, as we move forward to tomorrow night to beat stanFURD, keep that in mind. And to wrap this up, for those of you who are still here, please stay standing because we are going to do my favorite yell. We are going to do the axe yell. First, I will teach it to you, and then we're going to have a little bit of fun. To start it off, we all need to make an axe. So, hands up like this. It goes like this. Give them the axe, the axe, the axe. Give them the axe, the axe, the axe. Give them the axe, give them the axe, give them the axe. Where? Where do you think it goes? Where? In the neck, in the neck. It goes like this. Right in the neck, the neck, the neck. Right in the neck, the neck, the neck. Right in the neck, right in the neck, right in the neck. There. All right, we'll start it off slow and we'll pick it up. On me, on me. Give them the axe, the axe, the axe. Give them the axe, the axe, the axe. Give them the axe, give them the axe, give them the axe. Where? Right in the neck, the neck, the neck. Right in the neck, the neck, the neck. Right in the neck, right in the neck, right in the neck. There. All right, pick it up, pick it up. Give him the axe, the axe, the axe. Give him the axe, the axe, the axe. Give him the axe, give him the axe, give him the axe. Where? Right in the neck, the neck, the neck. Right in the neck, the neck, the neck. Right in the neck, right in the neck, right in the neck. There. All right, see if you can keep up. Who's ready? Who's ready? All right, here we go. Give him the axe, the axe, the axe. Give him the axe, the axe, the axe. Give him the axe, give him the axe, give him the axe. Where? Right in the neck, the neck, the neck. Right in the neck, the neck, the neck. Right in the neck, right in the neck, right in the neck. There. Now, before we end this, there are 3 people we all need to thank. They are Andy Keaton, Hunter Noble, and Sienna Garazi. Please give it up for the 3 of them. Without them, this wonderful rally would not have been possible. coming out. We will see you down on the farm tomorrow night when we win the axe. As always, go Bears!